The following program was produced by an independent community producer. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the ECAT staff or board of directors. Lighting for ECAT production provided by the Avery Lee Williams Family Foundation.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Topic Time with Harrison Young. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Topic Time with Harrison Young. We had an amazing run of weather today. I was very lucky in more ways than you could imagine. Number one, I thought we weren't even going to do a show tonight. We were supposed to have a whole plethora of snowflakes. We only had about 45 minutes worth when they told us we were going to get 5 straight hours. Number two, the guest I had intended to have on, and who's now probably sunning herself in either St. Augustine, Florida, or somewhere in the Bahamas, wherever she happens to be. I don't know where she is, but I found someone quite interesting tonight. This gentleman, his name is Derek Case. He's a mental health professional. He's right here in the building, and we're going to talk to him. But of course, before we get to him, got to read these incredible underwriters, and then we will commence per usual. So we have the Boston Auto Group right in North Easton. We have Vineyard Farm in West Bridgewater. We have Madigan Land Surveying in Middleborough. We have Anthony Cycles in Middleborough. We have Pals Driving School in Middleborough, setting up classes for March, April, and June. Better get on that website. We have Grip It and Rip It, trading cards and video games, and trading sports cards and video games in West Bridgewater. We have Brian's Barbershop in Kingston. We have One Good Credit in Brockton. We have New England Floorscapes in Middleborough. We have good old Dave's Automotive in Hanson on Route 58. We have Uplifted Nutrition in Taunton. We have Dennis Auto Body in Rockland. We have Bizarre Hair Salon in Southeastern featuring Curve Metrics and dry cutting. We have Carver Jewelers, Ronald R. and Delano Goldsmiths in Carver. We have Curtis Car Care in Middleborough. We have the Riverside Cafe in Wareham, open 6 days a week, all except Wednesdays, 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. They make the best breakfast from Boston to the Cape, and they have DoorDash delivery. We have Johnny Macaroni's Restaurants, 3 locations, 2 in East Bridgewater and 1 in Halifax. We have Lynch's Towing, Auto, Cycle, and Truck Center in Brockton, 1 number for towing, 1 number for projects. My pal Lynchy there is always in search of new scrap metal, wheels, anything to do with transportation. He handles it all. We have the Cornerstone Barbershop in Pembroke. We have Diesel Plus Unlimited in Whitman. We have the Alpha Fitness Health Club in Rockland. We have Fine Lines Barbershop in Raynham. We have X-Drive Motors Incorporated in West Bridgewater. We have Countertops Express in North Attleboro, experts in the installation and removal of quartz and granite. We have Tom Auto in Middleborough. We have Doggy Boutique, all-breed professional grooming for dogs and cats, run by my great next-door neighbor, Debbie Siddell in Brockton. We have Grant's Rental in Bridgewater. We have Salon Giovanni in Marshfield. We have Kingston Auto Body in Kingston. We have Haven Psychiatric Services right here in the building, and whatever Derek is in, we'll roll that in as well. We have RW Carpet and Flooring in Norton, covering floors for 50 years. We have DNS Auto Works and Collision Specialists in Abington on Route 58. We have Evan Young Realty, that's my brother, the realtor, and we have Joe's Diner in Taunton. I want to thank you guys so very much. And now, Derek Case, how you doing? So nice to have you come in at the last minute.
Thank you for having me.
Oh yeah, I meant to ask, are you comfortable in the chair?
Yes, this is fine, thanks.
Okay, I always ask the guests. I usually ask them before we start. All right, well, so you're a new young you're a mental health professional, and you just started the business a couple of years ago.
Yep, almost, year and a half ago, I'd say, or close to.
In 2023.
Yep, October.
Okay, wouldn't have been the third, would it?
I'm sorry?
Wouldn't have been on the third by any chance, would it have been?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay, that's fine. That's my birthday, so
Okay.
So that's why I'm bringing it up. Okay, all right. What exactly is your title in the business?
I am a licensed mental health counselor.
Okay.
I've been licensed since June, I think, of 2023.
Okay.
I started in this field in November of 2008.
Wow. You a graduate of some big school or college?
Yeah, just went to college.
Where?
I went online to get my bachelor's, and then I went to Cambridge College in Charlestown.
Oh, wow.
To get my my master's.
Is there another branch in Boston of Cambridge College?
Used to be.
Yeah, because my sister-in-law got a degree from there too.
Yeah, they
All
moved.
Right. Well, so in between the years 2008 and when you moved here, what were you doing?
Oh,
where?
Well, I was laid off from construction in 2008 with the economic sort of collapse, I guess.
Okay, but it was 2008 that you got your degree,
and then,
right?
No, that's when I started going to school in 2007.
Okay.
When I was laid off, I got a job in Pembroke Hospital, which is an inpatient psychiatric hospital.
Okay.
That was my first job in this field. I did that for almost 6 years.
Oh, wow. Okay. What were you, an orderly?
Like mental health associate is what they're called.
Okay.
I started off doing that, just checking on patients, making sure that they're alive and kicking, doing well.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
As best as they can. And then I got promoted to case management, working under the supervision of my director.
Okay. Now, what is the difference between a mental health caseworker and a psychiatrist or a psychologist? I mean, there is a difference,
Those are
right?
3 different things, yes.
Okay. Please explain them if you would.
All right, so a case manager is a master's level, mostly licensed clinician. We would find aftercare for patients.
Okay.
Like someone comes into the hospital, we try to hook them up with a therapist, a psychiatrist,
Okay.
sometimes day programs,
Okay.
etc. They have outpatient case managers as well that work with people out in the community.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, I mean, when you work at, now this Pembroke Hospital, this was an inpatient hospital?
Mm-hmm.
Were the patients in there, I mean, were they like committed against their will, a lot of them?
Most of them, yeah.
And they just weren't able to function on the outside?
Yeah, I mean, we all have hard times.
Oh,
right?
tell me about it.
Right. And it would vary from anywhere from someone who was feeling unsafe and expressed, thoughts of harming themselves. They get
Right.
what's called a Section 12, and they get sent to any one of the hospitals.
Okay.
It's normally a shorter stay for stabilization, and then the case managers find aftercare to send them out with.
Well, you're talking to someone, I don't know if this seems obvious from my demeanor, but I have autism, and I was actually almost committed as a child a couple of times.
Really?
Yeah, I was doing things. I did not fit in well with my peers in school as a child, and I did a lot of really bizarre stuff.
Okay.
I still do a lot of bizarre stuff, but I know how to, have a harness on it now.
Yeah.
I recall my parents were going to send me to this hospital for emotionally disturbed children in Providence called Bradley Hospital, and I think it's still functioning today.
I'm not sure.
No, I know it. I think, a couple of years ago, I heard their ads on the radio.
Okay.
In any case, I heard back in those days, what they would do is, I think they actually resort to shock treatment. What I'm wondering is, what kind of treatment, what is that between the time when a patient goes into a hospital and thinks he might hurt himself or herself, and when they get released? What does the treatment entail pretty much?
Oh, in the hospital?
Yes.
All right, so people come in, they get evaluated by a medical doctor or nurse practitioner for intake,
Yep.
They get their medical history,
Yep.
any medications they're on, any allergies, etc.
Yeah.
They then will try to work on developing a medication regimen that can help stabilize the patient
Okay.
to get them ready for discharge. Doesn't always work that smooth, but that's pretty much
They don't
the
do
goal.
shock therapy anymore, do they?
You know what? I don't know, but they did when I worked there.
They did?
Yeah,
Wow.
it's ECT, electroconvulsive therapy.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I actually don't know if it's still done. I know I work for a
Well,
clinic.
that wasn't that long ago. You said 2008.
It was actually, I think they started it in 2000, maybe even 11 or 12. That's when
Wow.
they implemented it. But there's more advanced treatments for
Treatments, yeah,
medication-resistant depression, like TMS, transcranial magnetic stimulation.
Okay, right, but I would think shock treatment would be. I mean, first of all, you're shocking your whole system. I'm no expert on psychology or psychiatric treatment from the professional standpoint. I'm only an expert on it from having seen them all. I've seen tons of shrinks in my life, and I've learned about it. And some of them have suggested I do medication, and I didn't want to do medication.
Yep.
Because I was a drug user back as a kid, and I got off of that, and I don't use any drugs at all now, except if every now and then, if I get a little arthritic flare-up, I'll take an ibuprofen until it goes away, and that's So as far as are you able to prescribe drugs for people?
No, I'm not that would be a psychiatrist.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, but you do counsel people. Is that
Yes,
it?
I do therapy. I've been an individual therapist only, actually. I started as a therapist in January of 2021.
Okay. Here, not here. No,
Nope,
you were here.
I started actually right across the street from Pembroke Hospital is an
Okay.
outpatient clinic called Northeast Health Services.
Okay, this is all in Pembroke.
Yep,
Okay, I'm trying to picture. I go through Pembroke every week. What is that on?
Winter Street.
Yeah, but is it a Winter Street?
It's off of Oak Street.
It's but I mean, is it on a main road? Like I think Route 58 or 53.
No, it's between like almost like 58 and 139.
Oh, okay.
And then it's like somewhere
It's a side
Yeah.
road. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just wondering, are there any dangerous people at the hospital? Like
I'm sure.
Really?
I'm sure there would be. I haven't been there in many years.
Well, I mean,
but,
were they there? Were they there when you were there?
I mean, there was incidents that had occurred on some of the units sometimes.
Wow.
Some aggressive.
I figured a hospital like that being out in the woods, which is Pembroke is a pretty bucolic town, would be the reason they wouldn't want it around a more populated area in case something goes wrong. I would think.
I'm not sure.
Okay. Have you ever counseled people at the prison?
No, I've never. When I applied for Pembroke Hospital, before I applied to them, I applied to Bridgewater State.
Okay.
For the prison.
Boy, you're brave, man. I wouldn't want to go there even to counsel anyone, but that's me.
I was really looking for some experience, and I got to say,
right. Okay.
Yeah, that was a great job to work at the hospital those years that I was there.
But you didn't get the job. You applied.
No, I applied.
I mean, at Bridgewater, I'm saying.
I know. I applied, and the only people that reached back out was Pembroke.
Okay.
A lot of places wanted people that had experience, and I had none.
Okay. All right. Well, you've been asserted. Now since you brought your practice here. Mm-hmm. I assume you have a pretty good set of people that come in. You see you counsel them on an outpatient basis, right? Okay. And just give me a rough estimate of the time. You have like kids that are like behavior problems or just have issues that.
Yeah. So I see a variety of people. My youngest client is very young, single-digit ages, and my oldest,
that's what I was too.
And my oldest would be in the 80s. So
right.
I try to see it throughout the lifespan. People come for a variety of reasons. If it's relationship issues, I don't do couples, but if it's one person, sometimes behavioral for children, sometimes anxiety, depression, and actually one of my favorites to work with is obsessive-compulsive disorder.
I have that in a big way.
Yep.
Wow. OCD. Now tell me some of the most unusual cases of OCD you had, and I'll see if I can relate to them.
I don't.
Without naming anybody. Obviously.
No, of course. OCD is so complex, as you know, and there's so many different types or subtypes, right?
Yeah, because everybody somebody's compelled to. Those that are afflicted with it are compelled to want to do certain things.
Compulsions, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I've just seen so much, and sometimes it's really subtle. I think that's what I feel great about is catching the subtleties.
Okay.
Because being able to be the person that first introduces the possibility of having OCD for someone who's never heard it, right?
Right.
It's like an aha moment. Like, oh wow, I'm not crazy or there's nothing wrong with me. Because no, there isn't. Because OCD is a very, as you know, it's like a mental prison.
It can either be subtle or it can be serious, depending on how.
But it's one of the key symptoms is intrusive thoughts.
Exactly.
And
like Howie Mandel has, which by the way you look like him a little bit.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah. Sure, you get that a lot.
Deal or no deal, right?
Right. I was actually in the studio audience of that show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, September 11, 2009. They paid me $100.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, well, I'm on well, that's what I'm saying. I'm on Boston Casting, which is a website.
Okay.
For that, and they sent me an email. They said they were putting out anyone wants to make $100, go down to not Glastonbury. It was in Waterbury, Connecticut.
Yep.
Sit in the studio audience. And we'll pay you $100. You'll be on national television. That was the year before I started Topic Time. And the contestant did a little better than I did. He made about $35,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he did pretty good.
A little bit better.
Yeah, a little bit. But it was fun. And I could have gone down again. But once, the second time, you ended up paying more money for gas. And plus, it was just a one-time thing just to see what it was like.
Quite an experience.
Yeah, it was. It was a good experience.
Cool.
Okay. Now look, you come across as, when you deal with your patients, do you ever incorporate humor in your therapy?
I love it. Yes.
Good. That's what
I had a coworker I worked with Brockton Area Multi-Services for I think just around 6 years.
Yep.
In the past, and I was an intensive care coordinator, and I worked alongside of another position called family partners.
Okay.
Right. And I had many great coworkers, but one of them specifically, and I don't want to say her name because I'm on.
That's fine.
But she and I really agreed on being able to laugh.
That's it.
Because if we don't laugh, we're going to be hurting.
Yeah, you've been laughing since I met you about 20 minutes ago, and that's as it should be.
Got to have some fun, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I like to focus.
Yep.
when I bring up humor,
Yep.
I like to focus on there's so many things in this world that we have zero control over, right? Scary stuff, scary.
Yep. Dreams.
Real life though,
Yeah, real
right?
life
We
too.
got social media. We got access to the whole world in a matter of seconds.
And we still don't have a handle on. So we don't control the weather. Like I said,
Nope.
like I said in the intro, I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to do a show today at all.
That's right.
Yeah.
So what I like to incorporate humor, because if we focus on all that death and the tragedies,
Yes. Then we're just going to be more depressed.
we're gonna get ourselves in a bad situation. So control what we can and laugh when we can.
Exactly.
Gotta have fun.
Do you work in the clinic by yourself, or do you have people with you?
I rent the space from a colleague of mine. She's a psychologist I've known for, I'd say, over a decade.
Okay.
Wonderful woman. I reached out to her when I was licensed,
Okay.
just to touch base
Was
with her.
licensed? What, aren't you licensed now?
I'm licensed now. It's a licensed mental health counselor. So
Okay.
I graduated with my master's.
Okay.
And then I worked for Northeast Health Services in Pembroke.
Right.
You have to accrue a certain amount of hours
Yes. Okay.
before you can become independently licensed.
Oh, okay.
When I got that, I reached out to my colleague of, almost a decade, I'd say, and here I am. I'm renting a space from her.
Okay, but I mean, is she a colleague of yours? Does she counsel people in there too?
Yep. She's a psychologist.
Okay, so you work with her then, basically.
No, we do our own.
I know, but she works in your office, doesn't she? or not?
I work in her suite. Yeah.
Oh, it's her suite, right? Okay, so she comes and she works. She does counseling as well.
She does individual therapy and she does psychological
She does
testing.
psychological therapy. Okay.
Testing.
What do you think of now? When I was a kid, this was we had a therapist who he was the one who told my parents, well, he's not, your son's not crazy. You guys have to adjust to him because, because they couldn't afford the tuition at Bradley Hospital. It was $10,000,
Crazy,
which I'm
yeah.
very lucky. I mean, even my college tuition wasn't even that much. I went to Curry College for $4,000, but that's a story for another show for another day. So but this therapist had this thing where we had like group therapy where they took, families, and I went, of all ages, because I was the youngest one in the group. We're going back to 1968.
Okay.
You probably weren't even born yet.
No.
Yeah, okay. But I would go in, on a couple of occasions, I would go with the family, and we'd hear all kinds of, we'd have like probably maybe 100 people at the table in this huge conference room in Cambridge, which is, and, sharing their stories and stuff.
Okay.
And I remember one of the stories was, as a kid, my parents always, they always seemed like they wanted to get rid of me, even independent of the institutional stuff. So they'd send me to camp during the summer, or kindergarten, so I wouldn't be in their hair or whatever. So we had the reason what I'm getting at is there was a newscaster. I'm not going to name him. I don't even think he's alive anymore. But he was for Channel 4, and his daughter was then a girl that was going to camp, and she really hated it. So. Yep. We would listen to a recording of her crying her eyes out about, "Please take me home. I hate it here," and it was. I don't know. I'm just wondering. It was almost like a soap opera entertainment for the rest of us, but that was what the doctor thought would be interesting enough to share with the whole group. And I guess when you have group therapy, nothing's off the table in terms of. Yeah, a lot of people would sit there and cry about stuff too. A lot of the adults would.
Well, it happens. Yeah, I don't do group therapy though.
You don't do it. So I'm just wondering, do you condone it? Do you not condone it? Or do you not have an opinion at all?
I wouldn't have an opinion on that one at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So now, when you counsel, do you ever counsel families though? Like if somebody. Don't you, like you said, relationships? Do you do marriage counseling at all?
I do not do couples therapy, and I do not do formal family therapy.
Oh, you don't? So it's everyone is always on a one-on-one basis?
Not everybody. I'm not opposed to seeing parents regarding a child.
Oh, I see what you mean.
I'm not opposed to seeing a family as appropriate, but I don't advertise as a family therapist or a couple. I do not do couples.
I understand, but you've done it before. You've had groups of families in your group. Okay.
Yeah.
Just right. Okay, that's pretty much like what we do too.
Okay.
What we did. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Have you ever written a thesis, or are you planning to doing any? A lot of the people who do what you do have document their work. Have you ever done that, or?
No, I don't have a formal thesis or anything like that.
Okay, would you ever consider writing something? Maybe doing studies on things that you want to learn more about, and then maybe writing them, putting them in a textbook or something?
That's a great question.
Thank you. I definitely try to ask great questions. But
That is a good question. Right now, I would just say I am too tired for that, like to write and to like get in. I'd love to learn new stuff, but to actually put it into writing and to do my own studies, I'm not sure I'm up for that.
Okay, no, I mean, right, and maybe someday you will be, maybe not.
Yeah, I'm not ruling it out.
Yeah, you get plenty of time to go through this, to figure out what you want to do in the next phase.
Yeah.
Okay, this is pretty good though. You pretty much, this is your 9-to-5 job now.
Yeah, I work here Thursdays and Fridays.
Okay.
I still work for that clinic on part-time in Pembroke, and I have another office in Norwell.
But you're not doing construction anymore.
Not anymore. I do it at my own house. I'll do
your own house. That's fine. You're a handyman at home.
Try to.
Home handy. I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. Do you have children?
I have 3 sons.
Wow. Are they adults? I mean, they couldn't be that old. I mean, you don't look that old.
Oh, go on. Yeah. No, actually, my oldest is 22. He's going to be 23 in April.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm 65, so to me, everybody looks young.
Yeah.
Well, not everybody, but somebody. I mean, well, that's awesome. Okay.
I have a 14-year-old and a 12-year-old.
Okay. So you obviously you have a pretty good family thing going for yourself.
Oh, I'm awesome. Very grateful. Very grateful.
Yeah. That's great.
And I have a wife of 16 years.
Okay, but you have a 22-year-old son.
Yeah, he's from a previous relationship.
I got you. Okay, all right. And now, in terms of, but you don't do marriage counseling. You don't. Well. Okay. Well, this I have to ask though. What if the issues that what if you have 2 people that you're counseling that are having marital difficulties?
Yep.
You send them to someone else.
Yeah, I would refer out. I'm a believer, and I'm not going to practice something if I'm really blind to it. I don't think that's fair.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I do have a couple people that I refer out to as needed.
Okay, that's cool. Do you ever use Rorschach tests?
No, you have to be a psychologist for that.
You really just to take some cardboard with black diagrams and.
Interestingly enough, I took a class on psychological testing. My last class of my graduate program.
Okay.
And
Cambridge College.
Yep.
Okay.
And learning the Rorschach. It's so intricate. My mind was blown by the intricacies of that test alone. I couldn't get over it.
Yeah.
It's a projective test, and it was just really interesting to kind of get the ins and outs of how that works. I wanted to get my doctorate to do testing, but I opted against that.
Okay. Well, that is amazing. I didn't realize. I know it was an intricate kind of test, but
yeah.
But I would think that being able to. This is where you could probably detect a lot of OCD, and is with Rorschach. I would think that interpreting, people's answers would give an indication of where they would be on a scale for OCD and whatever, ADHD or whatever else might be.
It can test a lot of different things. And like my colleague, she would do testing, and I would refer to her or other people that I know that do it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, though.
Oh, it is. Yeah, absolutely. Do you ever use music for therapy?
Nope, I've never used music. I have a colleague who does movement therapy, actually.
What do they call it?
Movement,
okay.
Something I'm very unfamiliar with, actually, but he's kind of taken off with that.
Okay.
But I do not incorporate music or art or anything like that because it's just not my area.
It's just not your thing. You just.
But it is a thing.
It is a thing, but you just go straight for you talk. You say, okay, so tell me what's on your mind today, and let's take it from there.
Yeah, sometimes it's like that. Sometimes it's more specific.
All right,
like if it's somebody for OCD, for example, we get right into that. I like to explore the whole person, though.
Oh, I understand. You have to, and that takes time. You're not just going to do that in one session.
Yeah, therapy is a process.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
My last therapist I saw for 13 years.
Yeah.
And a lot of it had to do because I'll tell you what, I was always a very paranoid person. I still am.
Yeah.
I'm always worried about I'm going to say something and somebody's going to want to clock me. And I'm getting better at it. First of all, I try to take care of myself so it'll be less likely to happen in case somebody doesn't like what I say.
Okay.
But also, I've calmed down a lot from probably seeing the last therapist that I saw. As far as relationships, my lack of relationship in my life is something that I would discuss with my last therapist constantly. Yep. And he did all he could for me, and then he raised his rate to $250 and for a 50-minute session. I said, okay, I'm going to get well for a while. That doesn't mean I'll never go back to see.
Yeah, that's steep though, right? I mean.
No, I said he was in Brookline. He's got a very nice practice. He's a good guy, and I appreciate what you folks in the psychiatric field, even though you're not a psychiatrist, do for us, because people do need someone to talk to.
Yeah,
and that's basically what you're there for.
Exactly.
Yeah, to talk to them.
Exactly, and I got to appreciate my life experience because that means I can relate. So I bring that to the table, you know, and I don't disclose it. I understand
Right.
a lot of things.
Tell me something. Have you ever? I know what your field is now. Have you ever done anything? We talked about humor. Have you ever done anything in entertainment at all? Ever done any acting? Ever done any, stand-up comedy or anything like that?
No, this is the first time I've ever sat in front of a camera.
Okay. Well, there you go. Well, this is good. You might have a whole new career. I actually had a therapist on here a few years ago, right here in this room, 5 years ago, who was from Brooklyn, and he wrote a play about some kind of he was making fun of Broadway stuff. I don't know. Yeah, his name was, I know, we got 5 minutes, by the way. I hope you had fun talking to me.
This is great.
Yeah.
Very unexpected.
Oh, very unexpected, and try to make it as positive as possible.
Absolutely.
All right, well, Derek, it's Derek, right?
Derek, yes.
Derek, okay, what I want, it's D-E-R-E-K?
Correct.
Like Jeter.
Yes.
I know, okay, there's a couple of ways of spelling it. What I want you to do is, like we discussed at the beginning, just look into the camera, give shouts out to people that are going to see the show. Your wife will see it, your kids will see it.
Oh, yeah. So
the whole town of Easton will see it if they want to.
Yeah, it's everybody in Easton, anybody else watching, and send a shout out to my wife Stephanie and my sons James, Jacob, and Isaac. And this has been quite an experience.
Thank you. Yeah, me too.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I mean, I know you said you've never been on TV before, and in your office you said the idea of being on TV kind of freaked you out.
Yeah, it's different.
It is.
It's cool though.
But let's face it. Thank you. When doing what you do, in all likelihood, somebody might want to interview you for the news too. That's what I'm saying. If enough people swear by you, have testimonials in your behalf.
Or maybe somebody's watching that's considering therapy but is not ready.
That's right, exactly.
Right? Take the step if you're considering it.
Yeah, absolutely. Take the step.
It's a scary step to take if you've never done it, though. So.
Do you have like a toll-free number people can call you at?
I have a business number.
You have a business number. We'll post it on the screen when we do the show. Okay. All right. Well, now I want to know. What I ask every guest at the end of the show is: are there any events in your life that might be coming up that you want to refer to, whether they have something to do with your business or just something in general that you think might be interesting to talk about? If not, that's fine, but I like to make sure we cover.
I'm not sure.
Okay,
I haven't really thought of that. I'm sorry, I don't have an answer for that.
Don't be sorry, it's fine. Your answer is you don't.
Yeah.
If you did, that's fine. Okay, now if you had a good time with me, now if you know anybody, either maybe a colleague, anybody that might be a good guest for my show, I'm going to give you, when we finish the show, when we wrap it up, I'm going to give you my phone number, and I want you to pass it around.
I will.
Yeah,
that I can guarantee.
Even if you're patient, so if you have a patient that thinks she's a canary or something, send them in here.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. By the way, have you ever done anything with hypnosis?
No, I don't know anybody that does it.
Really?
Nope.
Would you ever consider learning it or trying to?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not against it. I'm not against it, but I'm not sure.
Have you ever seen anyone be hypnotized before?
I don't even know anybody that does it, so no, I've never seen it.
You've never seen that, and when you were going to school, it wasn't part of the curriculum, I guess.
No, the closest I got to hypnosis was a movie called Office Space.
Oh, the movie, yeah, of course. I think I've seen that too.
Yeah, that was a good one, but that's all I know about it.
That's just a movie, okay.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. That's right. Okay. So I'm just, at some point you might want to, when I saw you today, somebody walk into your office and when they feel like they're getting a little better, you start, maybe dancing a jiggle around.
Yeah, it's an exciting thing though.
It is.
You see progress, and that's the beautiful thing about this work.
Yeah.
Is you get to witness people at lows, but highs as well, and you see people empowered and taking charge of their lives, and that's what matters, right?
Exactly.
It's not me, it's just me being there with them when they get in touch with that confidence.
Yeah,
It's really a great thing to see.
Yeah, I know it is. It is.
Yeah.
It's good to be someone like myself who's sort of on the patient end of that, on the being a patient of doctors and stuff that I've seen, and And when you start a session, do you just say do you have like a notepad and you just write down what they're saying?
Yeah, I take handwritten notes at times.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then do you sometimes wait and just you hear them just blurb a little bit before you?
Oh yeah. I try to
and
not
you probably
speak.
keep the notes from previous sessions too, or on
Oh,
file.
absolutely.
Okay.
To refer back to, but no, I like to give them the space to talk, but I like to have a lot of feedback myself.
Of course.
I think it's important that they know that I'm there.
Yep.
I hear them, and like I'm fully, engaged in what they're going through, because that's important.
Of course. All right. Well, Derek, you did an awesome job with me.
Thank you.
I'm going to wrap the show up with a snap, and now if you want to snap along, that's fine.
All right.
But here's one thing, and this might be an OCD thing too with guys. Some male guests, and I didn't mention it to you at the beginning. Some male guests, when they go with the music, they bang the desk.
Yeah.
Please don't do that. You didn't do it at the beginning. No female guest has ever done that. Some male guests, but I got a CD in here, and I don't make it jump.
Skip. Yeah.
Okay. All right, folks. Another great episode of Topic Time is finished up, and we're going to have more great shows. So keep watching and keep playing along, and we're snapping off and rolling out here. Okay. There we go.
Thank you.
Lighting for ECAT production provided by the Avery Lee Williams Family Foundation.